Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Synthwave here. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. I am sorry for the long hiatus that I took here in between videos. I think I just needed some time to recover from all the raiding, that I'm sure we all did. To get that 5-star Megatronus to get those 1 million bot chips. To those of you who got it, congratulations. And if you're like me, I'm sure you never want to do another raid ever again. I know it would have taken a little bit less time, but someone decided to nerf the featured bot chip amount and not tell anyone about it during the raid ascent event. So. And then of course they had the audacity to say that because the customers were colluding by making bases easier to fight, that that was the reason why they reduced the chip amount. Give me a break. Come on. I think that was kind of the last straw for me. And I know for many others too, because guess what? Look what I found here. Someone started a boycott. What a surprise! I mean, it's almost like the player base just said, finally, enough is enough, and is doing something about it. So good for them. So here, you know what? Let's take a quick look at it. I'll post the pertinent links for it in the description of this video afterwards, so you guys can go take a look at it for yourself. Sign it if you see fit. But yeah, let's just take a quick look at it, and then after that we'll take a quick look at Scorponok, next spotlight spot. That was kind of the other reason I was sort of delaying this video, is that I wanted to, I was kind of waiting for Kabam to go ahead and post the bot intel report and the spotlight information for him. But as usual, it seems like they just don't have time for us these days, and they're just, I don't know what's going on. These bot intel reports, they just seem to be coming later and later with each passing month. It used to be we could get them at least a week in advance, or sometimes more, but lately it's just coming up to the last minute, down to the wire here. So I don't know what that's about. Hopefully it means they're busy with doing Forge to Fight stuff, but as many have noticed and pointed out, a lot of their time seems to be spent with Marvel Contest of Champions. They seem to be pretty busy over there. So I am not going to wait for the bot intel report. I'm just going to go ahead, and someone was kind enough to send me a rendering of Scorponok, of how he looks in game. So we'll actually, kind of take a look at that, see what he looks like. We can go over some of his abilities, which they also found in the game files. And as usual, it will kind of require a lot of deciphering. Some of it, I'll try to, cut through all the jargon and coding and stuff, so we can kind of get a better picture of him and what he's about. But yeah, so we'll do that afterwards. But right now, let's take a quick look at this boycott document first, because I think it's noteworthy and deserves some attention. Let's see. Since the release of Transformers on April 5th, 2017, Kabam has digressed on numerous issues. Blah blah blah. Well, here, let's just go over some of the more salient points that they've brought up here. So first on the list is notification of changes, and it says historically, Transformers Forge to Fight has relied on two main channels of communicating changes: its forum, found on the game's website, and through in-game messages that can be sent to a customer's inbox. For a time, the team overseeing the game had done a satisfactory job in keeping your customers informed of in-game changes, both intended and unintended, and even at times offering forms of compensation when things had gone amiss. As of late, precedence has been set, making it acceptable to impose last-minute and uncommunicated changes to important aspects of the game, such as event rewards, like the featured bot chip amounts that you could earn on raids. I can see why that they probably put that first, because it was fresh in their mind. Furthermore, the rules of these events are often left open to interpretation, interpretation that Kabam recently used as a bait and switch on the customer base. There you go. Needless to say, these last-minute uncommunicated changes were not received well by your customers, and it was openly protested on the Kabam forums. Yeah, no kidding. To make matters worse, rather than postponing the change to the rewards to the following event, at which time proper notice could be given, the team overseeing the game simply dismissed the protest and closed the matter. Yeah, that is a legitimate grievance. Kabam handled this really poorly, and I normally I want to try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And I always try to use as much empathy as I can and see things from the development team's perspective, but they did not handle this right. They handled it very poorly, and it showed. Everyone was really upset about it, and I think it was kind of the catalyst for this whole document. I think that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and everyone said enough is enough. Let's continue on here. Forum moderation. In numerous circumstances that can be viewed in further detail on the forum, Kabam has ignored the outcries of customers that have brought forth issues affecting the entire customer base. Issues brought forth have been ignored, the threads have been closed, and in certain cases have been entirely removed or hidden from public view. I could see that is a legitimate grievance, but again, the whole empathy thing, I want to try to see it from, give a balanced view and see it from Kabam's perspective as well. There's just a lot of dumb threads on there too, so I could understand, that they would get a little overzealous and aggressive with opening or closing threads and saying enough on the matter, but this is a legitimate grievance too, because they do close threads. It's almost like they wait for just one person to come in and say something that can be construed as a little bit hostile, and then they're like, nope, we're closing the thread, that's enough on this. But I feel like also a lot of times they do let everyone get a chance to get their say in, on these threads before they're closed down, and obviously they do close down ones that violate the forum's terms of service as well. But yeah, I can see where they're coming from on this one. Next item is customer support. In-game customer support responses are a series of canned responses with no real follow-up that are closed shortly after being opened, providing no real value to the customer. To add insult to injury, commanders, in quotes, the term used for the players in Transformers Forged to Fight, have reported being referred to as summoners, the term used for the players in Marvel Contest of Champions when receiving these canned responses from the support staff. That is true. That is all true. Every time I have submitted a support ticket, I have gotten this generic canned response back from someone, and they always, without a doubt, call me Summoner. Greetings, Summoner. Thank you for your concern. I'm like, no, genius. You got the wrong game. There's nothing makes you feel more cared for as a customer when they can't even figure out what world you're on, what planet you're on. So yeah, anyway, refunds and compensation through in-game support are non-existent. They are very, it's almost impossible to get a refund through Kabam. Customers are forced to report any grievances to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store for refunds when customer support has been negligible, which has been almost 100% of the time. Yeah, that is all true. Punishing the customer base. Recently, and here we go, collusion was the term used by the most well-known Kabam moderator in a forum thread that addressed the aforementioned
bait and switch event before the moderator closed the thread down. Your company representative stated that because several players had colluded to reduce the difficulty of their bases, Kabam adjusted the rewards, in effect punishing the customer base for a time-saving action that 1. Did not violate the terms of service, and 2. In no way would have affected Kabam's revenue stream, as the same amount of in-game currency had to be expended to achieve the end goal of the event. Your customers were treated like conspirators to a violation of the terms of service for simply trying to save time so that other aspects of the game and our lives outside of the game could be enjoyed. This is all true as well. This is where Kabam messed up. It kind of goes back to the first point of notification of changes. That they did not handle that well. And to accuse you, I mean, what kind of business accuses their customers of criminal activity when they're just trying to do something to make something easier so they can enjoy a different product from that business, and in no way does it violate the business's terms of service. It was just mind-boggling that language was used. Anyway, moving on. Cheating, hacking in Transformers Forged to Fight has been a rampant issue, which has gone unaddressed on a scale that has affected the entire gaming community because the guilty are rewarded and the innocent remain at a loss. This is all true. Alliances that have had players caught violating the terms of service have been allowed to keep rank rewards rather than being disqualified and barred from receiving the rewards. Their alliance scores remain padded with the points accumulated from the banned accounts, and these accounts only receive temporary bans, and not all fraudulently acquired resources are removed from these accounts. This only deters fraudulent activity. Until the ban is lifted. That is also true. There have been so many players who have been caught cheating. They get this little slap on the wrist, and then they are allowed to come back and play, and they do it all over again. Cheating in raids. Yeah, nowhere will you see that more than in raids. That sort of slap on the wrist, and then they come back and they do it over. And raiding is full of that. It continues to run rampant in all situations. Kabam Inc. has taken a stance that the results of any investigation will not be disclosed to the reporting party. The ticket opened by the customer submitting the suspicious activity is almost immediately closed without resolve, nor is appropriate compensation issued to the victim or victims of the fraudulent activity. That is also true. I have done that firsthand. I have reported cheaters who have blown through my base and not taken any damage at all, despite there being harm accelerators and things like that on the base, and no bots that can mitigate that. That's when you get that canned response. Sorry, this happened to you, summoner. We'll look into this, but we're not going to tell you the results. Which is basically their way of saying we're not going to look into this, and because we're not going to look into it, that means we don't have to tell you the results because we didn't look at anything. That needs to change. And then finally, what I thought after glancing at this were the two biggest ones. They saved the two biggest grievances for last. Game content. Here we go. We can't emphasize enough that this and the following issue are probably the biggest grievance your customer base has. In-game offers requiring purchase using real currency or energon continue to be aggressively pushed for bot progression, making your characters better and stronger, which would be perfectly acceptable if there was new game content to use these characters in. In general, there has been no mention of any new game modes such as Act 4, Alliance Wars, Legends of Cybertron Chapter 3, I guess is what they're saying. No duels. My big thing, I want that super boss game mode. I think that would be so cool if they added that. But anyway, no commitments or forecasts into the game's future are provided, leaving the customer base wondering if the game will exist in the near to distant future. And with the impression that these real currency offers to increase the strength and potency of the customer's character roster are nothing more than just last-minute cash grabs before the game is shut down. No new content to match the character progression is the biggest evidence to support this supposition. Yes, big yes to that. and they continue to not give us anything. We just want some information. Give us some news about what's going on. Give us a teaser. Give us something. And then finally, the other big issue, bugs. Devices overheating / app freezing is the largest and most long-standing issue within the game. The number of forum threads discussing devices overheating, games freezing, lag, and performance degradation are further substantiated by your own forum moderators' comments on the topic. How can customers have an enjoyable game experience if running the game is resulting in extreme heat emanating from their devices and constant crashing? To this effect, how is the game passing Apple App Store requirements? And then they give a link showing that and telling them what you can look at it, but it's basically saying that Apple says that your app should not be generating excessive heat or put unnecessary strain on device resources, which is all relative. I mean, I can see why Kabam is pushing that, because there's no benchmarks. There's nothing, to say these are firm guidelines you need to stay within. So they're just like, whatever. No one's going to say anything. And until now, finally, people are saying something. And then solutions such as providing a graphic option to select reduced display resolution have been ignored. They have. Most egregiously, when the game crashes, the customer is penalized. Depending on the game mode that was being played when the game crashed, a penalty of health loss of up to 50% or knockout is applied. Another well-known bug, in quotes, we say this in quotes because many are convinced it is intentional, is how opponent bots make impossible blocks or counter special attacks after combo sequences. This is especially detrimental in the higher level difficulty of alliance missions where most of your high-end spending customers reside. This bug, quotes again, results in compromised situations exploited by the AI at the player's expense, so much so that it can and does convert into a real currency cost to the customer and gain to your company by ill-gotten means. Regardless of whatever this issue may be, it has become apparent to your customer base that Kabam's stance of, in quotes, "we'll pass it along to our developers," has become synonymous with, in quotes, "we don't know how to fix this," or "we won't fix this." So that is the list of grievances: notification of changes, forum moderation, customer support, punishing the customer base, cheating, hacking, game content, bugs, all of those things. I'm sure there's probably more, but I think that was just probably what the main ones that they came up with. I could think of a few, like bot balancing and things like that didn't make it. The follow through of updating the new content that they said they were going to do after 7.0 flopped, and they said they were going to do all these changes. They still haven't done a lot of them yet. But anyway, let's read what the consequences are going to be here. So until acceptable solutions to the above listed issues are met, we, the undersigned gaming community, will do the following on a wide scale. Negative reviews will continue to be applied in our respective device app stores, which is Google Play or Apple App Store. Spending on deals, offers, Energon purchases will be scaled back. Refunds will be requested through the App Store and Google Play Store by anyone affected adversely by the issues whenever appropriate. We will continue to push and provide the knowledge and resources to the community on how to contact Google and Apple with their grievances so that they can demand compensation until Kabam appropriately addresses and collaborates with the gaming community to resolve these outstanding issues. See, we used a positive word, collaborate. We didn't use collusion. We used a positive one. What changes need to be made to mitigate these outstanding issues? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to withhold on reading these just for the sake of time, and to also encourage you to go and continue to look at the document. And again, that link will be down in the description. But yeah, so that's the boycott. Let me know what you think about that, and then we'll post that in the comments. We'll take a look at Scorponok next, and hold on, let me pull up all the pertinent stuff we need for that.
Okay, so I will go ahead and just post the bot render that was sent to me, and they also sent me just some game files that I could kind of look over to decipher. They are really kind of hard to figure out, but this is kind of the gist of kind of what I gleaned from looking over everything about him. So here's Scorponok in all of his glory. I think he looks really cool. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the tail, how they animated it to make it move and things like that. And I'm really curious to see his alt mode as well. But yeah, there he is. I even like his coloring. I think he's going to be a really cool looking bot. But it looks like Scorponok's abilities revolve kind of mainly around something called Venom Charges. And here's the thing, I have no idea how he gains these Venom Charges, but at first glance, just looking at the game files, if I had to guess, it's gained through maybe like a blocking mechanic. It's kind of similar to Hound's precision ammo and inferno ammo, how he switches between the two. So it may just possibly be simply just holding down block to charge it. And I don't know how many of these Venom Charges you can stack either. It doesn't really say anything like that. His data was pretty sparse. Normally there's a lot to sift through, and with him he looked pretty basic, but he had some really cool, interesting mechanics. So he uses these Venom Charges, this, as far as I can tell, both for himself, and that it works in conjunction with what looks like his signature ability. So you'd want, definitely looks like a bot you would really want to have awakened, because these Venom Charges help heal himself if he's hit with non-special attacks. And so it looks like he's kind of a good sort of like insurance. It's like a good insurance signature to have if you're taking damage from non-special attacks. So he can either use it for that, or he can apply those Venom Charges to his enemies somehow, and I'm not really sure, again, how that works. And then when those charges are applied, maybe they just stay on him, but when he hits them with a heavy attack, it converts those Venom Charges into Backfire Debuffs, and then also an attack buff for himself. So maybe the charges just stay on him until a heavy is applied against an enemy, and then they move over to the opponent. Like I said, it's a really interesting game mechanic if I understand it correctly. And his backfires are also a little bit different than what you might see Barricade or Jazz doing when they're applied. I mean, they still actually, they do apply like instant shock damage, if the opponent triggers a special. But here's a big modification that they made to Scorponok's backfire, and that's and if I understand it, it's if the opponent has a backfire applied to them and they don't use their specials. With Barricade and Jazz, it would just expire and nothing bad would happen to the opponent. But this time it looks like that if they don't use them, they will be stunned without question for X number of seconds. I don't know how long that is. Additionally, on top of that, so there's a stun component, and then it looks like if multiple backfire charges expire simultaneously. So that's my guess, is that he charges up these stacks of Venom Charges, he launches a heavy, and then they all stack simultaneously. So it's not like Barricade where you're, peppering them with ranged shots and hoping all these, backfire charges, debuffs, hit them and then they expire at different times. It looks like they all get applied simultaneously. So it looks like if there's more than one Venom Charge applied to the opponent, that they will be stunned. And then it looks like even if you don't trigger the special, like if you, like the opponent doesn't use the special, they will still take shock damage. Not instant shock damage, but it's equal to the attack rating of Scorponok for X number of seconds, which is very different than Barricade or Jazz. So you can get penalized. So it sounds like you really want to avoid taking any kind of damage from Scorponok's heavy attacks. But that's the way I interpret it. Is that they're applied all at once. So you want to build up multiple charges to launch at your enemy through heavy attacks.
I don't know if there's, you know, a component. I was thinking maybe even if the opponent doesn't have enough power stored up to launch a special, that they could avoid being stunned. I don't know if that's the case or not. We'll see. But anyway, that's the basic gist of him. So we'll see what the bot intel report reveals whenever they get around to releasing that. But yeah, so that's all I got for today, guys. So stay tuned for the next video. It'll probably be something pertaining to the next spotlight. And you know, I want to take a second too to run something by you guys and tell me what you think of this idea. Would you guys be up to sending me some of your fights so I can post them on here for certain videos, like this one, for example, where I'm just doing a lot of talking and not doing, like, you know, spotlight walkthroughs or anything like that. I just think that would be a really cool idea to kind of put the person's in-game, you know, their screen name up on the screen saying, you know, fight provided courtesy of so and so. But I think that could be fun. So let me know what you think of that. And if you like that and you want to start sending me some, you can send them to me through my Line or Telegram ID. I can put that in the link description as well. But yeah, I think that would be cool to try that out. See that? I think that could be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's all for me, guys. So don't forget to check out that boycott document, sign the petition if you feel led to do so. And as always, it helps the YouTube algorithm out if you like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell for notifications. All that stuff factors into helping me grow the channel so I can provide, you know, more content, get more feedback, requests, etc. from you guys. So but yeah, thanks again though to everyone who has subbed so far. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.